جزاكم الله خير يا أخي. طيب يا إخوان نبدأ. Let's start Q&A before we start the class. طيب, we spoke about last week isti'ana, isti'adha, istighatha. Okay? What is isti'ana?
Isti'ana has to believe that Allah is the only one that can help and support you and aid you.
Okay, isti'ana is to seek Allah's aid and believe that He only can aid you in everything. Okay. Okay. What is isti'adha?
Isti'adha is to worship of the limbs. Worship of the limbs.
Worship of the
Limbs.
No, what is isti'adha?
Refuge in Allah before it happens.
Okay, the isti'adha is to seek Allah's aid or support or help before it happens. So you're anticipating something's going to happen. You make isti'adha to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Okay, that's called isti'adha. Istighatha. Oh, no, not Abdul Kareem. Okay, this brother here. Istighatha.
I wasn't here last week.
No, you were here last week? Okay, go on then.
Seeking Allah's help in times of trouble.
Time of difficulties. Give me an example.
For example, a person is drowning in the sea and he calls upon Allah, help me.
Driving, no, that won't be the one. Abdul Kareem, istighatha. Give me an example, istighatha. Can you hadith?
Is it in hadith?
Istastaghith Rabbahu fastajab. When did that was revealed?
Battle of Badr.
Battle of Badr. When Prophet raised his hand and he asked Allah to aid him, support him, and Allah revealed this verse. And the Battle of Badr was time of fear and difficulty. So istighatha is du'a, but it's time of fear and hard and difficulties. That's what istighatha is. طيب يا إخوان, so we covered isti'ana, isti'adha, istighatha. طيب, what does it mean إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين? That ayah and نعبد إياك or نعبدك, worship you. What's the difference? إياك نعبد ونعبدك. What's the difference?
You said that if that is dara'iyah, so it shows when doing something that you can only do it to Allah, so it negates like doing it to the dead or to a being, for example.
And na'buduka, we worship you a lot, we worship you,
but it don't negate other.
Now Shaykhul-Islam used this ayah for isti'ana. We read this every day in Surah Fatiha. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. What did Allah say like this? It's a grammar here. I'm trying to explain to you. So this is an evidence to say that isti'ana is only for Allah. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. Allah Azza wa Jal did not say نَسْتَعِينُكَ إِيَّاكَ, but He said other way around. What it means is that you alone we seek for aid, and we negate any form of aid other than you. Okay, affirmation and negation. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. That sentence means worship is only for Allah and seeking aid and support is only for Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, things only Allah can aid us. Okay, but the example, another example I gave, نَعْبُدُكَ, we worship you. Hey Allah, we worship you. But it is only affirmation. It doesn't negate anything else. Okay, but our tawheed, our la ilaha illallah says affirmation and negation. You affirm that worship is only for Allah, and you have to negate as well that anything worship beside Allah is not allowed. You have to do that. You can't just affirm, you have to negate. So that ayah does that. إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ. Grammatically that's what it means. We worship it alone and we negate anything worship beside you. Okay, that's what it means. That's what Allah said it like this. Of course, benefit. MashaAllah. طيب يا إخوان, we can't ask everything, so you have to try and learn, inshallah, memorize the verses. طيب, today inshallah, Darsul Yawm, today's dars is on dhabh. And Shaykhul-Islam brings the ayah from the Quran. قل إن الصلاة ونسكي ومحياي ومماتي لله رب العالمين لا شريك له وبذلك أمرت وأنا أول المسلمين. Allah said to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say, O Muhammad, indeed my prayer, my sacrifice, my life, my death and my life, or life and death for Allah, Lord of the world. He has no partners. With that I've been ordered to worship Allah with all this, and I am the first one to submit. We will explain we'll go over the verse later inshallah. First of all, let's explain what is dhabh. Dhabh, linguistically dhabh mean إزحاق الروح بإراقة الدم على وجه المخصوص. ذبح إزحاق الروح بإراقة الدم على وجه المخصوص, which mean to terminate a life by causing the blood to flow in a specific way that Sharia has legislated. So that's what dhabh is. Okay, dhabh is the worship, is an act of worship. That dhabh is only for Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, dhabh cannot be done other than Allah, other than for Allah Azza wa Jal. Now, when we do dhabh, slaughter, sacrifice has adab in Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, and Allah Azza wa Jal has legislated how to sacrifice an animal. One of the adab is that we have to sacrifice by the name of Allah. Okay. Also, when we sacrifice, we are commanded by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to sharpen the sword, sharpen the knife. Okay. In the hadith, the Prophet said that Inna Allah kataba al-ihsan ala kulli shay. Indeed, Allah has written ihsan everything, good thing He has written down for everything. فَإِذَا قَتَلْتُمْ فَحْسِنُوا الْقَتْلِ. If you kill, then kill properly. فَإِذَا ذَبَحْتُمْ فَحْسِنُوا الذَّبْحِ. If you sacrifice, then sacrifice properly. وَلِيُحِدَّ شَفْرَتَهُ. That let him sharpen the sword. وَلِيُرِيحْ ذَبِحَتَهُ. Then when he sharpen the sword, when he sacrifice, let the ruh comes out slowly. So one of the adab is that we have to sharpen the sword. Okay, but if you don't sharpen the sword and try and sacrifice, it's going to be hard for the animal. You know, so that's the second adab. Also part of adab, manners, is that we should not show the knife to the animal we're going to sacrifice, because it's going to get scared. I mentioned before as well that this person was drugging the animal that he's going to sacrifice, and Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu saw the person doing it. He said, "Are you going to kill the animal twice by doing this? Drugging it to sacrifice the animal. You don't do that." So these are some of the adab we have to adopt when we sacrifice. So that's the definition of adab. إزحاق الروح بإراقة الدم على وجه المخصوص. Is to terminate a soul, a life, by causing the blood to flow. This is in a way that Sharia has legislated to us. طيب. Now dhabh, continue with the dhabh inshallah. When we do dhabh, the adab of dhabh is that we say Bismillah. Okay? We have to say Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. Now, what is the ruling? The level of let's talk about in terms of darajat, stages of dhabh. So dhabh has two things: Bismillahi, Allahu Akbar. This is how we sacrifice. Okay, and that is Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. So when we say Bismillahi, Allahu Akbar, in the name of Allah, Allah is the most greatest. That means I'm seeking Allah's blessing, Allah's aid, Allah's support in this sacrifice. Allah put barakah in that. That's rububiyyah of Allah, Allah's lordship. Only Allah can do that. Allah can give you barakah in the sacrifice. Second part of dhabh, the two parts. The second part is the niyyah, the intention. The that the intention is for Allah Azza wa Jal. We do all do that, alhamdulillah, but just want to point out. Okay. Now the scholars have said that these two parts can be put into four parts. So someone can sacrifice by the name of Allah for Allah. So you say Bismillahi, Allahu Akbar, and the intention is for Allah. Okay, that's the way it should be. Okay. Secondly, someone sacrifices by the name of Allah, but not for Allah. So his intention is for idol, could be a righteous man, or Abdul Qadir Jilani, or any righteous man. But he mentioned Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, but intention is for somebody other than Allah Azza wa Jal. So here, the shirk in uluhiyya, in worship, because the intention is not for Allah. Even though he mentioned Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, but the intention is for other than Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? Seeking closeness to Allah. That's the second. The third is that someone says other than Allah, but for sake of Allah. So for example, he's sacrificing, but the intention is for Allah, but he mentioned the name of Isa, name of Abdul Qadir Jilani, or name of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? But his intention is for Allah, but the name is mentioned other than Allah Azza wa Jalla. Okay? Fourth one is that he doesn't mention the name of Allah, nor is it for Allah Azza wa Jalla. So he might sacrifice by the name of an idol or whatever, and it is for the idol. Okay? So the ulama have said that sacrifice is the first one. We mention Allah's name and for sake of Allah. Okay? For sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. And the other three we have mentioned are not according to Sharia of Allah. Okay? They fall into shirk. They fall into shirk of Allah Azza wa Jal. So dhabh is one of the worship of scholars, is a worship of the wealth. Because you sacrifice, you spend money, you buy the animal, and then you sacrifice. Leave the question at the end, inshallah. Yeah? طيب. So, these are the stages of dhabh, when we sacrifice. Now, dhabh, first type of dhabh is the dhabh taqarrub ila Allah. We do sacrifice, many types of sacrifice we have. First, al-qurbani, adhiyah we do, taqarrub ila Allah. Okay, even though it is sunnah, al-qurbani, Yawm al-Eid, Eid al-Adha, sacrifice is sunnah. Mustahab. Even if you're able to sacrifice, if you don't sacrifice, you don't get the sin, but you lose out on the reward. We thought it's wajib, innit? But it's not wajib. Shaykh ibn Uthaymin says it's mustahab. Abu Bakr and Umar will leave sometimes sacrifice, qurbani, Eid al-Adha. They will not sacrifice to show it to the people it's not wajib. Okay? But if you have the money, don't leave it. Sacrifice. Get the reward, you get the ajr. So that qurbani, Eid al-Adha, when we do dhabh, that's taqarrub ila Allah. It's for Allah Azza wa Jal. One of the greatest ibadah, Yawm al-Eid, it says, could do qurbani. Okay, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, for sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, that's dhabh al-ibadah, dhabh which fall under worship. Okay, because you're seeking closeness to Allah Azza wa Jal by doing that. And do you know that hadith says that when you do qurbani, you get the ajr of every hair that the animal has. When you do qurbani, the one who sacrifice, he gets the reward of every hair that animal has.
I heard that was da'if.
Some of the scholars mentioned, yeah. So we check into, but the hadith are there, Ibn Majah, Sunan, one of the Sunan. طيب يا إخوان, but the ajr is huge. That's one. Second type of dhabh li'akl. Dhabh to eat. So you might have a farm, you have an animal, a sheep or something. You go grab a sheep or something. Bismillah, Allahu Akbar. You sacrifice. But the intention is to eat, isn't it? That's okay, nothing wrong with that. You're doing for any sort of Eid al-Adha. It's nothing like that. It's just for you and your family. You're doing to sacrifice to eat with your family. So, but with the name of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? Third type of dhabh we do for walima or feeding your guests or something like that. Okay? Walima is obviously sunnah, is mustahab. When someone get married, should do walima, inshallah. And Prophet said to Abdurrahman bin Auf radiallahu anhu, he said, awlim walau bishat. He said to him, do walima even with a female sheep, but don't leave it, do it. So when you do walima, you get a cow or sheep, whatever, you sacrifice, Bismillah, Allah Akbar, with the intention for the walima. Okay, you're going to feed the people, guests coming. And for business as well. Business purpose, you can do sacrifice in the name of Allah, but the intention is, the aim and goal is for the business. Okay, so these are some of the dhabh we do, dhabiha we do in our life. Now, طيب, my brothers and sisters, a lot of people, they ask me these questions, and I want to clarify this now, inshallah. What is the ruling of the one who sacrificed an animal and he forgot to say Bismillah? Are we allowed to eat that meat? Okay. In the Quran, Allah said, لا تأكل مما لم يذكر اسم الله عليه وإنه لفسق. So the question is, are we allowed to eat a meat that someone forget to say Bismillah? He did sacrifice, forgot to say Bismillah. So the Jumhur of the ulama says that you can eat that meat. Okay, it's halal. Why? Because he forgot to say Bismillah. And in the hadith of Rasulullah, he said that إن الله تجاوز عن أمتي أو تجاوز لأمتي خطأ نسيان وما أستكره عليه. The Prophet said that Allah has forgave my ummah, He has forgave my people for their forgetfulness, mistake, anything they're compelled to do. Allah forgave them. So someone has sacrificed, he forgot to say Bismillah, he's forgiven. And because he's forgiven, he's allowed to eat the meat. And this is the majority of the opinion of the scholars. Okay, you can eat the meat, nothing wrong with that, inshallah. Some of the group of scholars might say it is not allowed. You're not sinful for it, but you're not allowed to eat because the name of Allah is mentioned in it. But we say this ayah, وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا مِمَّا لَمْ يُذْكَرْ اسْمُ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَإِنَّهُ لَفِسْقٌ. That do not eat from meat that has not Allah's name is not mentioned on it. Indeed, it is a fisq. So the ulama use this ayah to say you can eat because the word fisq means open sin. Okay, and that attribute are not applied to somebody who made mistake. Okay, this is for somebody who did sacrifice by intentionally he forgot to mention the name. Or intentionally he didn't mention the name. But out of forgetfulness, you can't apply that fisq to him. He's forgotten. You can't say you did act of fisq. La. He forgot to do that. So they say that, yes, you can eat it. Based on that ayah, this fisq is not attributed to the person who forgot to say Bismillah. Allahu Akbar. Okay? So yes, such person, if you forget, then it is halal to eat the meat, inshallah. Now here, the evidence of Shaykhul-Islam Muhammad ibn Abdul-Wahhab, he brings the ayah, the ayah, I read it beginning of the class. Say my salah, say Muhammad, indeed my prayer, every prayer, Salatul Fard, Nawafil, everything is for sake of Allah, and my sacrifice, nusuk. Nusuk here means sacrifice. Okay, my salah, my sacrifice, these two means Tawhid al-Uluhiyyah, Ibadah. Oneness of Allah in His worship, salah and sacrifice is oneness of Allah in His worship. That's what it means. وَمَحْيَا وَمَمَات, my life and my death is for Allah. That's Rububiyyah. Why? Because Allah is the one who gives life and death. He controls your life and death. Okay, how long we're going to survive? Okay, when we're going to die? Our control of our life, everything corresponds, everything goes round the will of Allah Azza wa Jal, the qadr of Allah Azza wa Jal. This is Tawhid al-Rububiyyah, Allah's Lordship. That two means we talk of Allah's Lordship, and that should be for sake of Allah. So our life is for sake of Allah, meaning that our life that we live, the life we are living in now, should be done for sake of Allah. We should worship Allah, submit to Allah, live our life according to the way Allah wants us. If you don't, then we haven't given that life for Allah. If you don't worship Allah in this life, then we haven't given this life for Allah Azza wa Jal. We wasted the life, wasted the time. وَمَمَاتِ, and my death. Allah says in the Quran, وَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ, and do not die except in the state of Islam. So if you don't leave our life according to Quran Sunnah, if you don't leave our life according to Islam, how are we going to die according to Islam? We're not going to die. So we have to give our life and death for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal, the Lord of the world. La sharika lah. He has no partners in that. Allah has no partners in any of this. He's alone. We're nothing like Allah Azza wa Jal. So this is the evidence that Shaykhul-Islam brings. The evidence is wanusuki. But he's not going to mention that word only. He mentioned the whole verse. But that's the verse. That's the word we're talking about. Okay, brothers? So we've covered briefly al-dhabh. We gave the definition of al-dhabh. We explained the level of dhabh. Okay, we mentioned 4 of them, and we mentioned when we do qurbani dhabh, the different type of dhabh we can do. Inshallah, that should be enough for this subject. Okay, in the Sunnah, Shaykhul-Islam brings the ayah and the hadith from the hadith. He brings the hadith, لَعَنَ اللَّهُ مَنْ ذَبَحَ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ. May Allah's curse be upon the one who sacrificed other than Allah Azza wa Jal. لَعَنَ اللَّهُ. Allah will curse. Now the word la'an, when the word la'an is used in an act, means this act is a major sin. And Allah, in the hadith, Prophet used the la'an for many things. Many things. Allah, he used la'an. So la'an Allah, man dhabaha li ghayri Allah. Allah will curse, or may Allah's curse be upon the one who sacrificed other than Allah Azza wa Jal. What does la'an mean? La'an mean the ulama says, to be cast away, pushed away from the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal. That's why we say, la'natullah, or if you say Iblis, la'natullah alayhi. Okay? Shaitan, when you mention his name, you say Allah's curse be upon him, because he is matrud. He is cast away, he is pushed away from the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal. So when the hadith says la'an, whoever sacrificed by other than the name of Allah, then he's been cursed. He's been cursed by Allah. If he does knowingly, that is, okay, not forgetfulness, knowingly if he does that, then he fall under the hadith. He's cursed by Allah. That means that he is pushed away from the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? The person is still Muslim. Like la'ana Allahu al-khamra. Allah cursed khamr. Okay, he cursed alcohol. So many hadiths. So this la'an here means the person who sacrificed other than Allah has committed major sin. That's why Allah cursed him. Allah's curse is upon him. So that's dhabh li ghayri dhabh we should do for Allah Azza wa Jal. طيب يا إخوان, the next one is an-nadhr. Nadhr is good as well. A lot of people ask me these questions. What is ma ma'na an-nadhr? Al-Asbahani, one of the great imams, said an-nadhr أن توجب العبد على نفسه عملا ليس عليه واجب. Okay? ماذا؟ أن العبد يوجب لنفسه عملا ليس بواجب في أصل الشرع. Asbahani said that nadhr is when someone makes an act wajib on himself when it's not wajib. So for example, a person says لله عليه نذر إن شفاني الله أعتمر. I made vow to Allah that if Allah cures me, I'm going to make Umrah. Another means vow. So you made something wajib on yourself, which is not wajib. Now you have to fulfill it. You have to go and make the Umrah. You've made wajib on yourself. Okay? In the hadith of Aisha radiallahu anha, أن Rasul sallallahu قال من نذر أن يطيع الله فليطيع ومن نذر أن يعصي الله فلا يعصي. That whoever makes vow to obey Allah, let him obey him, and whoever make nadhr to disobey Allah, do not disobey Allah. Then you have to do kaffara for that. We'll talk about this. So nadhr is something that a slave of Allah, he makes an act of worship wajib on him. It could be many things. لله علي نذر إذا وجدت عملا So ahujj, something like that. A'udhu billah. He made the nazar on himself. If Allah gives me a job, I have made a vow by Allah that if I find a job, I'm going to go to Hajj. You just made the wajib on yourself. You have to fulfill the Hajj now. Whatever you see, anything like this you make, that's why you don't make it. So what the ulama says, what is the hukum of nazar? So in the Quran, Allah said, yufuna bin nazar. Yufuna bin nazar. Allah said that they fulfill the nazar. Allah praising the people who make the vow and they fulfill it. If you fulfill it, then you fall into the ayah where Allah praises you. Okay, but if you fail to do it, then sin is upon you. So this ayah, Allah praises it. In the hadith, Hadith ibn Umar radiallahu anhu, he said, Amna Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam nahana an nadhr. The Prophet forbade us from nadhr. Then he said, in the nadhr, laysa fi khair. In the nadhr, in vow, there's no khair in it. إنما يستخرج به البخيل. Indeed, it takes out from you stinginess. So the ulama says that in the Quran, Allah praises for the people who fulfill the nazar. And the hadith, it says, Rasul dispraises. He discourages. So the ulama says, nazar are two types. Nazar muqayyid, nazar mutlaq. Nazar mutlaq is the praised one. You don't make condition, you just do it. You want to do Umrah, don't do it. Don't make nazar. Okay? If Allah does this, I'm going to do this. No, nazar mutlaq is absolutely say, by Allah I'm going to go and make Umrah. Don't make it. There's absolutely, there's nothing wrong. You don't make condition. Okay? You just make another, you go and make Umrah, whatever. Muqayyid is you put shart, a condition to it. If Allah does that, then I'll do it. If Allah cures me, then I'm going to go to Hajj. If Allah gives me a job, then I'll do this. You like, it's a revenge. Allah, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. I'm just trying to explain myself, yeah? That's what you're saying. That's being selfish. That's what the hadith comes, bakhil. That's what the stinginess. Hadith, that's what hadith mean. Okay? Allah, you give me, I'll give it to you. So, the ulama says, La tanzuru. The hadith says, the Prophet said, La tanzuru. Do not make vow. Okay? Because why? If you make vow and you can't fulfill the vow, then it's on your shoulder. And if you die upon it, then who's going to take the responsibility? Your family. To fulfill that. So the ulama has recommended us, even hadith said, do not make vow. Okay? Because it's difficult to fulfill. And if you miss out on that, then it's problem. So this is another. And you have to fulfill the another. And in another ayah Allah said, وَلْيُوفُوا نُذُورَهُمْ وَلْيُوفُوا نُذُورَهُمْ. The ayah is, let him fulfill the vow. It's a command here. So if you make a vow for worship, then you have to fulfill it. And if you don't fulfill the vow, then you're sinful. Sinful for that. So keep away from that. Beloved brother say, yeah, Ustadh, I made a vow. Okay, this, that. Shall I fulfill it? Then why do you make it then? Should make vow. We're going to mention the 4 types of vow regarding the ruling of it. Okay? Vow, when it comes to vow, nazar, okay, so you understand now, yeah? Nazar mutlaq and muqayyid. General nazar, which is, you make nazar to do something, do it. But muqayyid, you make condition with Allah. A'udhu billah. It's not major sin or haram, but you're going to do something, do it. You don't have to Allah to give you something to do it. Allah, give me this, I'll do this for you. Allah doesn't need our worship. But that's what the ulama said. Don't make nazar. It's not it's not a recommended thing to do. Vow. Now vow, there's a vow called nazar al-ibadah. Nazar, which is ibadah. Like the hadith says that. Man nazara an yuti'a Allah falyuti'hu. That whoever make vow to obey Allah, then fulfill it. Then that's nazar al-ibadah. You have fulfilled it. Okay? Then you go nazar shirk. Nazar can fall under shirk, vow. You make him vow by the name of Muhammad or idol, or make a vow by whatever, because nazar is ibadah. And if you make nazar by other than Allah, you have turned this ibadah other than Allah Azza wa Jal. Then you go nazar ma'asiyah. Someone says that lillahi alayya nazar illam ajid amalan سأقع في الفاحشة, whatever, if Allah made a vow, if I don't find a work, I'm going to do some sort of fahisha or something like that. A'udhu billah. Something like that. If anything, he wants to do some sins or whatever. So this nadhar haram to fulfill. So the Prophet said, Man nadhar an ya'si Allah, fala ya'sihu. That whoever make vow to disobey Allah, don't disobey Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? You can't disobey Allah Azza wa Jal. But if someone does that, then there's a kaffara. We're going to cover this inshallah. Expiations. You have to do expiation. You have to fulfill the expiation. We'll go over this inshallah. The fourth type of nadhar is nadhar mubah. Nadhar mubah. That is, you make nadhar, but it's not related to the worship. It's related to dunya. There was a man, he made nadhar. He's going to walk to Medina or something like that, or somewhere far. He's going to walk. And the news went to Prophet ﷺ, he said, just take the riding base, don't have to walk. It's not through dunya. It's dunya, it's not worship. So if someone came to me and said, yeah, Ustadh, I made nadhar that I'm going to wear this thobe on Friday. I didn't wear it. Am I sinful? I said, no, don't worry about that nadhar. It's just dunya. In ibadah, I'm going to fast, I'm going to do umrah, I'm going to hajj. It's ibadah. Then you have to fulfill it because it's ta'ah. It's a ta'ah, it's obedience. Then you have to fulfill it. But in dunya, I made another by Allah that today I'm going to drive to Jum'ah and I walked. Am I sinful? Don't worry about it. This is dunya. Matters of dunya is mubah. That's what we call mubah. Something there's no command for you to do or command for you to leave. Not to do with the deen of Allah. There's no connection to the deen. It's dunya. Okay? So when you make nadhar for dunya, you don't have to fulfill it. But have to make another. Anyway, do whatever you need to do. You don't have to make a vow to do your white thobe or something like that. Or you're making vow by Allah to wear white thobe, or you want to eat some sort of hanid or something. I'm making vow by Allah to eat hanid. People do that. People do silly things. They came to me and said, yeah, Ustadh, I made nadhar for this. Why are you making nadhar for this? You don't need to make nadhar. Leave it. So these are four types of nadhar. In terms of ruling, ibadah can be shirk, can be sinful nadhar, vow, or nadhar fall under mubah. These are four types of nadhar in terms of ruling. Yeah. Now, what is the ruling of the one who makes nadhar, that is a vow that he's going to commit sin? Okay, I've never heard anyone done that, but Allah talks about it. Allah talks about it in the Quran.
So
he says that
another for udhiyah, for example, if you make another to say guests come in, I will make an udhiyah.
Yeah, you have to do it.
You have to do it.
Yeah, because if you make nadhar, it's worship, isn't it?
It comes under worship.
Yeah, because adhiyah is qurban, isn't it?
Yeah, but adhiyah for guests.
Yeah, if you make the nadhar, then you have to do it.
You have to do it.
Yeah, you have to do it. Yeah. So he says here, Allah says in the Quran, فَكَفَّارَتُهُ إِطْعَامُ عَشَرَ مَسَاكِينَ فِي أَوْسَطِ مَا تُطْعِمُونَ أَهْلِيكُمْ أَوْ كِسْوَتُهُمْ أَوْ تَحْرِيرُ رَقَبَةٍ فَمَنْ لَمْ يَجِدْ فَصِيَامُ ثَلَاثَةَ أَيَّامٍ. Okay, Allah says in the Quran, the kaffara is this, to feed 10 masakeen. So when you feed the masakeen, sa'a means this much of rice or crops, or it could be dates, this much, you give it. What you feed your family with, you feed them. So it's not money, you have to give food. But nowadays, if masakin, you can't find masakin here now. You have to send it abroad. You can't send rice or in envelope or whatever. How are you going to post? You can't. So you give the money to the company, they'll buy the food and they give it to the poor. Yeah? Masakin. So you have to feed 10 masakin. Or you have to clothe them. Second is clothes. 10 masakin, you clothe them inshallah. Or tahrir raqaba, free a slave. Now, a person who does this, before he goes to the first three, he can pick anyone he wants. He looks at it, the one who looks nice, he can pick that. Okay, freeing slave, does it exist nowadays? Leave that, they don't exist then. Khalas, we can't do that. Okay, you can feed 10 people, can't you? Or feed or clothe 10 people. Either of them, you pick it and you do it. If you can't do none of them, then you have to fast 3 days. So you can't jump to fasting. You can look at the first 3 first. Any 3, you pick any one. If you can't do none of them, whatever reason, then you have to fast 3 days. The ulama have said you fast consecutively. You can't break it. I'll fast today 1 day and have a 2-day break, then have to do it. Shaykh bin Baz says it's okay, sinful, but the most authentic opinion is that don't break 3 days continuously. 1, 2, 3, break it. Normal fasting, but do it consecutively 3 days. So that's the kafaratu yameen. Kafaratul Yamin is that you make a vow to commit sin, okay, and you forgot to do that, and you can't fulfill that sin, so you have to do Kafaratul Yamin. So that's what it is, ikhwan. But if you make kafarat, if you make another which is worship, then you have to fulfill it. وَلْيُوفُوا نُذُرَهُمْ, let them fulfill the vow. If it's obedience, worship, then you have to fulfill it. So this is the ruling of the one who make ruling of kafaratul yameen. If someone make vow to disobey Allah, that's what they have to go through.
So you see, when you say make a vow, do you mean make a vow by Allah?
Yeah, by Allah, yeah. You make vow by Allah, but as we have mentioned, if you make vow by Allah to commit a sin, that's what you have to do. It's punishment. It's like a punishment. You're going to do this. This is the small punishment, difficulty you have to go through. So you have to do that. But if it's obedience, you have to do it. You have to do it.
Does a person have to make it up immediately? Like, for example, if he...
Okay, leave the question. Let's continue, yeah? Let's continue, inshallah. So we've covered today dhabh wa nadhr. And we explain what nadhr is. Ikhwan, yeah? So what we have covered so far, my brothers and sisters, alhamdulillah, we covered al-asl al-awwal. Okay, the first fundamental of Islam, which is knowing Allah Azza wa Jal. We covered that. We covered what we have spoken about, the categories of worship. He mentioned 14 types of worship in this Shaykhul-Islam. There are more than that. Okay? But the thing is, that the fact of the matter is that worship should be done for Allah Azza wa Jal. And he did some of the examples he gave, and we covered in quite detail. We finished now. We're going to start the Asl al-Thani, which is the second principle of Islam, min Thalaathatul Usuul. The second one is that Ma'rifatul Deen al-Islam bi adillah, is to know Islam with evidences. Now, ad-Deen, the word Deen here it has many meanings in the Quran. Okay, like in the Quran it said Maliki Yawmiddin. Now Deen here Day of Judgment. Deen also means way of life, Islam, Tawheed. Inna ad-Deena inda Allah al-Islam. Indeed, the Deen which is accepted to Allah is al-Islam. That's Tawheed. Al-Yawma akmaltu lakum deenakum. Al-Yawma akmaltu lakum deenakum. Today I have perfected your Deen, Tawheed, the Islam. Okay, so Deen comes the meaning of Tawheed or Islam, way of life. Deen also mean someone mutadayyin. Deen also mean to obey. Dana yadeen, to obey. Fulan mutadayyin, so and so is obedience, submissive. You can say in Arabic, Muhammad mutadayyin. He must have good adab, his obedience. طلاب متدينون للشيخ, or لمعلم. The students are very obedient to the teacher or to the sheikh. So متدين تدين دان يدين means to be submissive, to be obedience. Yeah, that's what it means, deen. معرفة الدين الإسلام بأدلة. Now this is a very important point here. That is, we have to understand Islam with adillah, with evidences. Okay, he didn't say معرفة Islam خلاص, لا, بالأدلة. We have to have evidence, and everything that whatever we have covered so far, did he not mention evidences? He mentioned dalil for everything. He mentioned adillah for everything. So when we worship Allah Azza wa Jal, we have to follow the evidence, not follow so and so, blind follow so and so, or my Imam says this, my Shaykh di khalas. La, we have to have evidence. for everything that we do. And Allah mentioned in the Quran, قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِ الَّذِينَ يَعْلَمُونَ وَالَّذِينَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Allah said, say, Muhammad, the one who knows is equal to the one who doesn't know? No, they are not equal, they're different. So, if someone, for example, someone makes wudu, yeah? And he makes wudu because Imam told him that. His local Imam said, oh, this is how you make wudu. Okay, he makes wudu like that. The second person, he makes wudu based on the hadith. He studied the hadith and he said, this is how you make wudu. They're two different things. He's following the hadith and he's following the Imam. Two different things. So, burhan, adillah is very important in Islam. So when we pray, everything that we do, we have to have evidence for it. We have to have proof for what we say, what we do. That's what Shaykh said, bil adillah. Bil adillah, with evidences. And when we hear people say things about Islam, we have to ask, where is the evidence? Where is the dalil? We can't just take whatever he says. We have to follow the proof, inshallah. So it's very important, this word, bil adillah. Bil adillah, inshallah. So here, we have to understand Islam with evidences. So Shaykhul-Islam Muhammad ibn Abdul-Wahhab, rahimahullah, he explains, he brings the definition of al-Islam. He says, al-Islam, Islamu lillah bit-tawheed. وإنقياد له بالطاعة وبراءة من الشرك وأهله. He says that, what does Islam mean? You know the word Islam came from the verb aslama yuslimu, islaman, Muslim. So basically, Islam is from the doing word aslama, to submit. So Islam means submission, that's what it means. Okay? And if some say it means salam, which means peace, but you get peace through submission. So the basic root of the word Islam is aslama. Aslama yuslimu islaman fahu Muslim. So Islam is from the word to submit, to surrender. If he does that, then he's a Muslim. That's what it is. So what is the definition of al-Islam? Shaykhul-Islam says that, Muhammad ibn Abdul-Wahhab rahimahullah, huwa istislamu lillahi bit-tawheed. Istislamu lillah is to submit to Allah, is to surrender to Allah Azza wa Jal in your will. You submit to Allah in totality, with tawheed, with worship, with surrendering to Him with sincerity. Okay? That's what makes a person Muslim. Istislam, submitting to Allah Azza wa Jal, doing what He says, living what He forbade, okay? Worshipping according to the Quran and the Sunnah. That's istislam lillah. Basically, to worship Him alone. وَإِنْقِيَادُ لَهُ بِالطَّاعَةِ. Inqiyad means to submit, obey, follow His command, doing what He says, leave what He forbade, okay? So when Allah commands us to do something, we do it. Whatever Allah forbade, we leave it. That's inqiyad. Someone doesn't do that, he hasn't got inqiyad, he hasn't got istislam lillah. Okay? So for someone to do that, then he is known as wali, muttaqi, Muslim. Now, these are two things we are learning, more than two. Islam lillah, submitting to Allah, surrendering our will to Allah, following His command, doing what He says, leaving what He forbade. And the third one is also very important, وَبَرَاءَةُ مِنَ الشِّرْكِ وَأَهْلِهِ بَرَاءَةً وَخُلُوص مِنَ الشِّرْكِ. Shaykh says the khulus. Mean that to free yourself from shirk and the people of the shirk. Like Ibrahim alayhi salam, he did. So if we do first two, worship Him alone with sincerity, submit to Him, follow His command. But when it comes to the last one, to free ourselves from the people of shirk and the shirk, shirk associated partners with Allah Azza wa Jal, then if you slacken on that one, then it is question mark in iman, yadu billah. Because bara' min shirk wa ahli, something, freeing ourselves from the people of shirk, and shirk is part of aqidah, part of belief. And that's how Ibrahim alayhi salam, he freed himself from his father and the people of the shirk. We have to be part of the tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal, part of la ilaha illallah. Okay? We don't just worship Allah, we have to free ourselves from the shirk and the people of the shirk who associate partners with Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay? In the Quran, Allah mentioned many verses about Ibrahim alayhi salam. On Ibrahim salam, he says to his people, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ وَقَوْمِهِ إِنَّنِي بَرِيءٌ مِّمَّا تَعْبُدُونَ. That remember when Ibrahim alayhi salam said to his father and the people, I am free from what you worship. So this is very important. We have to free ourselves from Ahlul Shirk and the people of the Shirk. Shirk and people of the Shirk. And in the Quran, Surah Baqarah, Allah said, فَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِطَاغُوتٍ وَيُؤْمِنْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ اسْتَمْسَكَ بِالْعُرْوَةِ الْأُثْقَى. That whoever free themselves from Taghut. Taghut is something worshipped beside Allah. Imam Malik says, Taghut is shaitan. Okay? Some says fortune tellers, soothsayers, these are Taghut. Whoever frees themselves from Taghut and believe in Allah, then he has strong grasp hold in Islam. So we have to do that. We have to free from false deities and believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. This is the clear verse where Allah has stated that we have to free ourselves from shirk and the people of the shirk and believe in Allah Azza wa Jal alone. So Islam, my brothers and sisters, is to worship Him alone, okay, follow His command, doing what He says, leave what Allah forbade, and we have to free ourselves from the people of the shirk. Now some might say now, we're living in land which is not Islamic land. How do we free ourselves from these people? We mentioned this. Remember we spoke about this, the first three fundamental, that we have to make bara from the kuffar and things like that, non-Muslims. We explained what Islam says. You know, we said that general principle in Islam is that when it comes to non-Muslim, we have to treat them good. Okay? وَخَالِقِ النَّبِّ خُلْقٍ حَسَنٍ. And treat mankind good. This is general principle. Muslim, especially non-Muslim, at work and whatever, we have to treat them good. Our neighbors, things like that. If they're non-Muslim, we have to treat them good. Speak to them good, inshallah. Smile at them. They're neighbors, they have haqq on you, haqq over you. So they have right over you, So, kuffar, non-Muslim, we have to treat them good. And Allah teaches us in the Quran that as long as they're treating you good, you treat them good, inshallah. Be just to them. Okay, give them da'wah. Okay, just because they're a Muslim, I'm going to free myself from them. I'm going to speak, abuse them verbally. La, this is wrong. This is wrong. So, what does it mean to be free from the shirk? Is that we do not accept their shirk. We do not become like them. We don't follow their way of life. Okay? They go to pub, we go to pub, they go to nightclub, we go to we don't do that. We are friends at school, alhamdulillah. We friends at work, alhamdulillah. Hi mate, you okay? How are you? This, khalas. Colleague, it's okay. But let's go to nightclub, let's go to pub, enjoy. We don't do this. It's not part of my faith. A lot of brothers, the teacher, the colleague come to them. You ready for tonight? Let's go. Friday night, let's go meet up, go for a lunch, let's go to the pub. We don't do that. We're colleague, school, that's okay. But to go outside that now, pass the boundary. So, yes, we be good to them, speak good to them, inshallah. That's what it means. But a lot of people don't understand that. They say, we have to free the people of shirk, ahlul shirk. We have to abuse them. You don't have to abuse them. No, that's not right. Prophet ﷺ had neighbors, a Jew. He went to the house and he ate in the house. You can invite non-Muslim to your house. If they're genuine, invite them to your house, let them eat. Allah said in the Quran, وَإِنْ أَحَدٌ مِّنَ الْمُشْرِكِينَ إِسْتَجَارَكَ فَأَجِرْهُ حَتَّى يَسْمَعَ كَلَامَ اللَّهِ. Allah said that if any disbelievers, non-Muslims, comes to you to seek refuge, help, support, give them so they can hear the word of Allah. Not anyone, if you know somebody, genuine. So we have to treat non-Muslim good. We have to smile at them, at workplace, whatever, So this is part of our deen. Freeing from the shirk and al-shirk means that we don't follow their shirk, we don't follow the manhaj, we don't follow the celebration. We don't adopt in our life. Treat them good, inshallah, workplace. So, this is what it means, my brothers. We don't take up their deen, follow that deen. We leave it here, inshallah. We'll continue next week. Jazakumullah khair. Any questions? I'm going to take that now because Isha is coming very quick. Any questions? Go on.
Shaykh, basically, the subject of slaughter, also basically, the Ahl al-Kitab countries, permissible, for example, at McDonald's, KFC and Burger King, is it permissible to go there, providing that it's Ahl al-Kitab country? We don't know if they said the Bismillah or if a Muslim slaughtered it or Christian way.
Some of the opinions said the ayah in the Quran which allows us to eat meat of the Ahl al-Kitab. But the question, are they really Ahl al-Kitab? That's the question. One of the Shaykh was Abbas, who he was brought here. He came and actually they took him to McDonald's and they did research. And the Shaykh said, no, you can't eat. You can't. The Shaykh ibn Uthaymin, Shaykh Albani, from there they gave fatwa. Yes, you live in West, you live in Gharb, it's a Christian country, you can eat the Ahlul Kitab meat. But here, are they really Ahlul Kitab? Allah knows best. So, da'ama yaribuka ila ma la yaribuka. Leave what is doubtful, then what is not doubtful. Best to leave it, don't have it. Shaykh Abbas gave fatwa, you shouldn't avoid it.
Just regarding that thing, so what about things that are not meat or chicken? So, for example, fish from McDonald's.
Fish, there's no something about fish halal haram. Fish is halal. If you see fish dead, you can eat it.
No, I mean in terms of it's from the same place. So like,
you can. I mean, if they fry from the sausage and all that, what are you talking about?
Yeah, obviously we don't know if it's fried in the same.
You can ask them. Like if I go and eat fish and chips here, I say to the owner, okay, do you fry the fish the same as the sausage? They will say, okay, I'm going to fry it in a different one. I'll give it to you. Or they will say, no, we don't. Then eat it. I'll find out, inshallah, yeah. Go on, over.
I was going to ask about the nadhr. If you made a nadhr that you might have done in the past, you don't know what it was exactly. But you can't remember, you think you might have made one. Or if you made a number of them, how would you go about
if you're not sure, then if you're sure that you haven't made it, but there's a doubt in it, okay, then we say al-yaqeen la yadlu bi-shak, that the certainty doesn't go because of your doubt. So if you feel that you have done another long time ago, but you know what it is, leave it, inshallah. Allah forgive you, inshallah.
Yeah. I mean, for example, things where maybe you said, oh, wallahi something, like, because Somali.
Now if you say wallahi, Arab says wallahi I'm going to do this, I did that. This is just a kalam, isn't it? That's what nazar. Yeah. Because a lot of Arabs, when they speak Arabic, they wallahi in every sentence they make wallahi. So that's the intention is not for that anyway. Because there is a qaida, al-umur bil maqasid. Every matter is based on intention. So if you're just saying wallahi for sake of wallahi, intention is not to make nazar. But when someone says I'm making nazar, lillahi alayhi nazar, then he's making nazar. But if someone says wallahi ya akhi, wallahi I did this, wallahi, no, it's not nazar, it's not really, you're just making nazar. Yeah. The brother over the limits.
Could you just quickly give me the definition of what it is? The definition.
Al-dhabh definition is, have you wrote the definition of al-dhabh? We said that al-dhabh huwa إذهاق الروح بإراقة الدم على وجه المخصوص, which is to terminate a life, an animal, to terminate the life by causing the blood to flow in a way that is legislated by Sharia. So you don't get a gun and start shooting the animal, or get a knife and start stabbing it everywhere. Haram. What is the makhsus? What does the Sharia say? And that's what we do. The Qurbani. That's the Sharia way. That's what it means. That's why I say makhsus, specific way we have to do it. If you don't do that, then we fall into haram.
When the Jewish person came and gave his food to the Prophet, he didn't question them about the thing. So how can we?
No, because they were Ahlul Kitab, innit? They were Ahlul Kitab.
No, but the Jews Ahlul Kitab.
Yeah.
But he didn't question them.
No, he didn't question them.
So, but is the asal of like he are not Ahlul Kitab.
No, it's not.
The Christians, they are not, they're atheists.
This isn't Christian country. It's not even run by Christians. It's run by liberalism, basically. It's got nothing
The
religious.
Jews are more upon the Jew way than the Christians upon the Christianity. Okay, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله